Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Pastor, and I'm here to share with you today 5 body-based ways to feel more energetic. Now, this might be really good for you if you have trouble getting out of bed in the morning and want some ways to just give yourself that little extra kick. Or if you reach a midday slump or an end of the day energy slump where you just need to get yourself going a little bit more to reach that next task or to perform that next thing. So just a little bit of background about me. I am a chiropractic doctor, and I have a specialty in neurology and a real passion for understanding human behavior. And that allows me to help my patients and people like you develop body-based, behavior-based strategies for influencing all areas of their health, including their mental health, which is really what we're going to be talking about today. And this really comes down to body language. A lot of people think of body language as the way to interpret the way that other people are feeling, to understand how other people are feeling or expressing themselves. And the reason for this is that the way that we emote is very closely tied to our emotional state. And we really do think a lot about our behavior reflecting our internal emotions. But the way that a lot of the tools that I'm going to teach you today work is that the way that we behave and the way that other people behave towards us also influences our emotional state. It's a two-way street, which is where a lot of these tactics are going to come from, is using that two-way street to use your physical movements and your physical state to influence your emotion rather than being driven more internal to external. And the reason for this is that it's really challenging to influence the mind with the mind. It's very difficult to influence your internal narrative by just trying to change the words that you use to yourself or the state that you think you're in. It is much, much more effective to use your body's positioning and your posture and your breathing to influence your mental and your emotional state, which is really where all of these are going to come in. And that's really because your body seeks congruency above all other things. So if you're trying to say that you're happy, but your shoulders are rounded forward and your head is forward and your posture is down, that's a conflicting message for your mind. It's a conflicting message for your brain. So that will create stress in your system and will actually not allow you to feel that happiness state that you're trying to express. So let's get to some of these steps, because I feel like this will be a little bit clearer if we start talking about some of these things specifically. So the first step, step number 1, is to breathe. Now, a lot of people use breathing techniques now to help calm themselves down. It's one of those things when people are feeling anxious or wound, they will tell you to take a deep breath and slow down. And luckily, breath control can actually work both ways. You can intentionally use your breath to energize yourself. And it's not necessarily hyperventilating or really driving yourself high. It's a more simple technique that involves really just focusing on your inhale. So what a lot of people don't realize is that inhale tends to drive a little bit more sympathetic or driving activity. And exhale tends to drive a little bit more parasympathetic or rest and digest activity. So what you're going to do here is, rather than focusing on breathing quickly, you're going to focus on driving your inhale a little bit more and letting your exhale be a little bit more passive. And what that will look like is spending a little bit more time and intention. So let's say, for the sake of giving you a specific set of numbers, let's say you spend a 6-second inhale. You spend 6 seconds inhaling, and that's 6 seconds coming up very intentionally, filling all of your lungs, and then allowing your exhale to just be very passive. Pretty quick, not necessarily as long, and then repeating a nice long inhale, maybe 6 seconds, maybe 4 seconds, depending on how big your lung capacity feels, and then allowing just a passive exhale. And even after 1 or 2 of those cycles, you'll probably start to feel like you'll get a little warmer, you'll start to get a little bit more excited. But if you do that for maybe a minute or 2, you can really start to feel your energy come back and you can give yourself a little bit of a push. And this is something you can do anywhere. A lot of these steps are going to require a little bit more movement, but this could be something if you're laying in bed and you just want to give yourself that little boost. Maybe start with this breathing. Start by getting your body a little bit more revved up intentionally so that you can get out of bed on your own terms. Which brings me very nicely to step number 2. So once you've got that breathing down, we just need to move. And this really is not specific to any type of movement. Just get your body moving, and that will get your blood flowing. That will get you feeling a little better. I think people tend to get stuck in this pattern of, particularly as we spend a lot of our work time sitting, we tend to get stuck in these patterns where we're just stagnant for a long period of time. Whereas if you want to feel energized, just getting out of your chair at least once an hour to move, to take a lap around the office, take a lap around your house, Just move. Doesn't really matter to me how, doesn't really matter to me where. If you want to upgrade this, if you want this to be a little bit more effective for boosting your energy, then you can take a walk outside. You can take a walk with somebody else. You can have some kind of engaging conversation going on or be listening to a podcast, something that really gets your mind going. But the important part is the physical movement. Now, these next three are actually going to be a little bit of variation on that movement. They're going to be ways that you can boost these things, but they are all going to be movement and expression based. So step number 3, beyond just moving, is to take up some space while you move. Take up some space while you are standing. And the way that this can look a few different ways. First would be if you're just going to stand and not necessarily move around, take up a little bit of space. So think really tall. Raise your head up high, and that will naturally let your shoulders fall. And a little nuance with this one. Don't necessarily think about your shoulders coming back and being really rigid like we tend to think about military stance. Just think tall. And when you think tall, your head will naturally come up, your shoulders will naturally drop down a little bit, and you will elongate your spine a little. And what you'll find too is this will actually make it feel a lot easier to get a nice deep breath. This might actually really help reduce some stress levels in the process of making you feel a little bit more energized. So just think tall if you're going to stand. And what this taking up space means when you're moving, when you're walking, is allow your arms to swing. There's actually this really interesting study that showed that people that have more arm swing feel happier than people who walk with a very rigid stance. So allow yourself to take up some room while you're walking. Allow yourself to take up some room while you're standing. Allow yourself to be expansive, and that will help your energy come up, because this kind of low and internal, you can even hear my voice change when I do it, but this kind of low and tucked in thing, particularly that we do when we're sitting at a desk involved in computer work, that really makes it difficult to breathe, it makes it difficult to emote, and it makes it difficult to feel energized. So that was step number 3. Just to pull us back one more time, step 1 is to breathe. Step 2 is just move. Doesn't matter when, doesn't matter with whom, doesn't matter where necessarily. Step 3, which we just went on, is take up a little space while you're moving. Allow yourself to be expansive. Step number 4 is to set yourself up to smile and to laugh. Now, this goes back to what I said earlier about congruency between physical action and what you're feeling on the inside. There are some really interesting studies that have shown that if you act as though you are enjoying yourself, if you are smiling, if you are laughing, then that will also not only express that you are feeling happy, but also tell your body that you should be happy, that you should be running a happiness program. And this might sound like I'm saying fake it until you make it. And it's really not so much that as it is act like it until you feel it. I know that sounds like a funny bit of distinction, but it really does make a big difference. If you act like you're happy, if you act like you're high energy, your body will run the program as if you are happy and you're high energy. So the ways that you can do this, I mean, you don't necessarily need to just smile just because. You don't want to sit and look a little weird smiling at your own computer, but smile at someone who passes you on the street and makes eye contact. Don't be creepy about it, but smile. And what's interesting about that too is they will usually return the smile, which means that you get this very simple human interaction that feeds both of you into this state of happiness and higher energy. Same thing with laughing. Laughing is really awesome for getting you just in a nice, happy but energized state. And this can be setting yourself up to watch something funny. Watch a cat video online, or watch a really funny TV show, or something that really gets you that deep belly laugh, because that can raise your mood and raise your energy extremely quickly, while also lowering your stress levels. So bonus all the way around. And this last step, so this brings us on to the last step, which is really to engage in physical play. Now, play, just to clarify what I mean by this, play is engaging in an activity that is self-driven, something that you want to do, that you want to keep doing, that seems to have no direct purpose. So what I mean by this is that it's not work. You can enjoy your work, but your work is not going to inherently be play. This can be things like playing fetch with your dog, or catch with your kids, or throwing a frisbee with a friend. This can also be, you can do a lot of these things individually too, where you throw a ball against a wall, or do something by yourself that you find really energizing. Take a walk and listen to a podcast that you find really energizing. Something of that nature. Anything that just feels like something that you want to continue to do, without really kind of an immediate need being met. And this can be anything that energizes you, but what's important here for feeling more energized is that it be something physical, something that gets your body moving. And this can even be playing a virtual reality game that gets your body moving and things of that nature. So, to review, just because I feel like I might have zoomed through those just a little bit fast, the 5 steps that we're going through here are first to breathe. To focus on this energy, it's really focusing on the inhale, driving in and letting your exhale be a little bit more passive. This will help you feel warm and energized and ready to go. Second one is just to move. Just get your body moving, no matter how or where, and get your blood flowing. That'll really help with your energy. Step 3 is to take up some space while you're moving, while you're standing. Step 4 is to smile and laugh. Set yourself up to do so. Smile at other people, laugh at a video, set yourself up to watch a comedy, something that just really gets that intentional happiness going. And 5 is to engage in physical play, something that's not immediately meeting a need, but that you just do because you enjoy, and get up and move and get your energy flowing. Now, if you have any questions for me, you can always reach out. I have a well-connected listing, and also you can reach me at my practice, which is now AHI Integrative. All the listings and information are below. And have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.